Well, what can I say? That was a tough watch, I got to say. West Ham United 1, Newcastle United 5. Yes, you heard me right. 5-1 to the away team. And I'll be completely honest with you, it could have been an awful lot worse. We came out of the traps quickly. We were at them in the opening stages of the match. For the first 4 minutes, I'm thinking, where has this West Ham been all season? We made a really fast start, but then it just sort of seemed to quickly peter out, and Callum Wilson scores his customary goal against us. He always does it. And then 1-0 quickly became 2-0, and you're sort of sitting there thinking, oh bloody hell, the old West Ham are back. We get a goal to reduce the arrears. Interestingly enough, our last 2 goals have come from set pieces. You know, I mean, sort of like we've all been sitting there bemoaning the fact that we don't score set piece goals. Now all of a sudden we've learned how to do it. But then on the back of that, we get to half time 2-1, and you're thinking, oh, game on. Whistle goes at the beginning of the second half. What, 21 seconds later, we're picking the ball out of the back of our net. I mean, it's shocking defending. It's absolutely shambolic. And in the space of the first 20 seconds or so of the second half starting, we've basically run up the white flag. Absolutely fucking unbelievable. And then Fabianski for the 4th goal. I don't know what he was playing at. And then obviously the 5th, just to sort of seal the deal. I mean, absolutely embarrassing, to be honest with you. I'm struggling. I'm really struggling, because I do wonder whether, I know we got, just discussing it with a few of the people I'm with, we obviously got done 4-0 at Brighton, and I think a lot of people at that point thought they've got to pull the trigger on him now, haven't they? And they didn't. Obviously, now, the one thing that changes things slightly is in the last week or so, there's 2 managers that have been relieved of their duties from other Premier League clubs, being Potter and Rodgers, and you do wonder whether maybe that might force the hand of David Sullivan and Daniel Krasinski to maybe act, because we've got 10 games, and I saw a team now. All right, Newcastle are at the upper reaches of the Premier League, and they're a good team, but we got absolutely blown apart for most of that game. I mean, every attack we had, we sort of, you know, it didn't really look terribly convincing, which has pretty much been the story of our season, let's be completely honest. But every time they came forwards, every time they got into our box, they looked dangerous. They looked like they were going to get shots on goal. They were going to force defenders to make a block. They were going to force the goalkeeper to, you know, and 5 times they put the ball in the back of our net. Absolutely embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. I've given up my evening. I've worked hard to try and come here with me kids. Effort to get here, time, money, all the rest of it. I've been served up with that load of old bullshit. Seriously, it's really depressing. I think he's got to go. I mean, I've been saying this since November. I've been saying this since the Leicester game before the World Cup. I think we need a change. I don't think we need a change anymore. In fact, I've known we've needed a change for quite some considerable time. The problem is that the guy in charge, Mr. Sullivan, doesn't seem to know. Or maybe he does know, but just is paralysed by the fear of, obviously, you know, him letting David Moyes go last time, and then he got in a manager that it all went wrong and blah blah blah. But then he also did the thing with Avram Grant where he hesitated, he didn't pull the trigger when he should have done, and we went down the gurgler then. It's so tight at the bottom, and one win, 1 defeat either way can really affect you massively. But a 5-1 reverse at home, that's going to have given our goal difference, which is probably the one thing that you've looked at when you sort of look at the points tally, and you look at our goal difference and of the teams that are down in that part of the league. Our goal difference is one of the better ones of the teams down there, but we've just had four goals blown in that with a 5-1 reverse. So what does that put us down to? Minus 13, I think, because I think we was minus 9 before this game. So that now puts us down to minus 13. So that's taken a hit, as well as the players' confidence. I mean, let's talk about the players, right? Again, Thomas Souček gets selected. I really don't know what Thomas Souček has to do in order for him to not make the starting lineup. He had a poor game the other day against Southampton. Yes, we won the game, but that was in spite of Thomas Souček, not because of his presence. 68 minutes on the pitch, 11 passes completed out of 21 attempted, 52%, and he's not even contributing in the areas where, you know, we've always known he's been poor at passing. But the one thing that got away with, if he didn't score goals, he'd be sort of like winning aerial duels, he'd be making tackles, he'd be making interceptions. He's not even contributing with that now. I don't know what his stats were today, but I really didn't notice him. The game seemed to pass him by yet again. And as I say, that was the same against Southampton. He got selected here today. He'll probably get selected for Fulham. He shouldn't. Tilo Kehrer, Lucas Fabianski. These guys need to be binned, because if they keep getting a chance by David Moyes, if he keeps selecting them, assuming he's the manager for the Fulham game, which I'm not entirely convinced, as I say, but let's just suppose he is. If he comes out and picks Thomas Souček, Tilo Kehrer, Fabianski again, guys that have let him down, that have let the fans down today, let their other teammates down that did at least have a go, the likes of Jared Bowen, for instance, you know, they can count themselves very lucky if they start against Fulham. They really can. They shouldn't. They absolutely shouldn't. Those three especially, Souček, Fabianski and Kehrer tonight, I thought were really, really, really poor. I don't know where we go from here. The only thing that gives me a little bit of a crumb of comfort, a little bit of positivity to possibly grab onto, is the fact that Craven Cottage is normally a fairly happy hunting ground. We normally have a pretty good record against them, and obviously they've got Mitrovic, their star striker, their main man up top. He's going to be out of the equation, so I do look at that and possibly think to myself, maybe that's a crumb of comfort that we can possibly grab onto, but it's a very, very small crumb, let me tell you. But anyway, that's basically me. Like I say, I can't get over this. I mean, like I say, there's a lot of people that came tonight. There was good support in the ground. It was vociferous. It was, like I say, we was behind them before the game, during the game, even at 2-1 down, half time. The support was good from the fans, and unfortunately, there's certain players that, quite honestly, they're not worth the shirt on their back. They're really not. But we got to turn it around. We've got to turn it around quick, because if we put in too many more performances like that, we're in trouble. We're bang in trouble.